Okay, so it is a time for all ages. Come on down, kids. Any kids? Milo? Mary Jane? Come on down! Woo! So we're going to stand for this one because we're going to get some moving going. So, you've probably heard that song, On Top of Spaghetti, All Covered with Cheese. Yeah, you never... What? Well, you're about to hear it now. However, I have, I was a journalist at one point in my life. Not really. And so I kind of rewrote the story of the traveling meatball. It's called The Traveling Meatball Meets Its Destiny. You know what destiny is? No? Yeah, Mary Jane.
It means like what you want a lot.
Kind of. Wow. It's sort of what you're meant to do in life. Like as a kid, maybe you're meant to do the dishes. So I'm going to teach you a Swedish phrase, and it's called "Ja visst." So everybody say that. "Ja visst."
Ja visst.
And that means, of course. So when your parents ask you, "Have you done your homework?" you say, "Ja visst." Or, have you made your bed? Ja visst. Like, let me hear you say it. Say ja visst. Ja visst, very good. Now you know a Swedish phrase, ja visst. So anyway, we are going to sing a song about a traveling meatball, and we're going to do some actions. And I would like everyone to join in on the actions. You can stand, you can sit, whatever, okay? Hit it, maestro. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese. I lost my come on, do it, Paul. When somebody sneezes, let's do it. On the table and onto the floor, plop. My poor meatball, it rolled out the door. It rolled through the garden and under a bush. It almost got sat on by somebody's touch. Come on, guys, do it. It rolled down the driveway and into the street. It almost got stepped on by somebody's feet. Was that a meatball? It rolled out my friend's house. It rolled past my school. Just do what I do. When I think of that meatball, my mouth starts to drool. It bounced down the hillside. It rolled past the bar. And then my poor meatball hopped into a car. It drove to the airport, to a plane. It got on a plane. Perhaps my poor meatball is somewhere in Spain, maybe. Or maybe in Canada. Or maybe in Sweden. Where likely my meatball, just like this, has finally been eaten. Ja visst! Good job, guys. Yeah, I know, I changed it. Good job.
Hello. I started attending the First Unitarian Church of St. Louis when I was in kindergarten. So it's good I'm following the kids' song. My mother had been church shopping, so I'd visited a few churches by then, and I was happy to have her select the Unitarian Church in the end. I love the donuts and the tables full of books to explore in the social hall after the services. And no one asked me to memorize Bible verses. At that UU church, we had a children's chapel service in a separate room each Sunday. And some adult, probably a teacher, I don't know, would light the big chalice on the table, and we would sing Morning Has Broken. That song has always made me smile and feel peaceful, and now it makes me nostalgic as well. So let's sing it together now, please.
Good morning. I'm Amy French. My name tag. Music and lyrics have the power to inspire, comfort, and bring hope, even during our hardest moments, like when we're afraid. Music can be a source of strength, making us feel less alone. Lyrics help us feel understood and remind us that difficult times do not last forever. We can calm ourselves by thinking of and singing about nice things. What are your favorite things? One of mine is to watch movies. When I was 6 years old, my parents took me to see The Sound of Music. It was so popular, it played in theaters for 4.5 years straight. Wouldn't happen today. After seeing it, I remember singing and learning to play do, re, mi on the piano. In that film, who can forget the innocent bedroom scene? A thunderstorm, Maria in her nightgown, the Von Trapp children seeking her help to cope with their fear. She creates a waltz tempo song after telling them, if anything bothers me and I'm feeling unhappy, I just try to think of nice things, daffodils, green meadows, and skies full of stars. She asks what their favorite things are. The girls say, pussy willows, Christmas, bunny rabbits, chocolate icing, birthday presents, ladybugs, cats, a good sneeze. There were a lot more girls than boys. The boys say, snakes, no school, pillow fights, rats. Liesel, the eldest, who's in love with Rolf, the telegram delivery boy, who turns into a Hitler Jugend, announces her favorite, telegrams. This is one of the most covered secondhand songs from musical theater. It shows up in jazz albums, it's on many artists' Christmas albums. After all, the lyrics mention warm woolen mittens, snowflakes, and brown paper packages. It's been covered by John Coltrane, the Supremes, Barbra Streisand, Kelly Clarkson, Mary J. Blige, and others, and Ariana Grande, the most recent one, with her song 7 Rings. My favorite memory of this waltz is when my daughter Bella prepared to use it for an audition at Woodside for the musical On the Town. The song was perfectly suited to her vocal range and showed off her beautiful smile. The process of working on it with me, her mom, helped her cope with her audition jitters. And of course, she got the part. Bella and I sang it again together in 2022 in a meadow in the Swiss Alps, along with The Hills Are Alive, which Dawn was playing earlier. This was days after we learned about the overturn of Roe v. Wade, when we were feeling so fearful at that moment, wondering, how could it possibly get worse? So, my advice, just turn off the TV, take a deep breath, and sing. So we breathe. Let's ignore our fears now and create the UUFRC version of My Favorite Things.
My very first memory of music and of singing was in kindergarten when we sang Puff the Magic Dragon with our teacher, Mrs. Black, who had bright red hair. My 5-year-old brain could not reconcile that. Mrs. Black, bright red hair. Until just a few days ago, I had not thought about the lyrics to Puff since I don't remember when, and what a bittersweet song it is. And reading the words unexpectedly brought up the mixed feelings of joy and sadness that I experienced when I had first encountered it over 60 years ago. The lyrics to the song are based on a 1959 poem by Leonard Lipton, who drew inspiration from Ogden Nash's poem, The Tale of Custard the Dragon. As many of you know, the song tells the story of an immortal dragon named Puff and his playmate Jackie Paper as they embark on adventures in the fictional land of Honolulu. As time passes, Jackie matures and abandons his childhood games, leaving Puff sad and alone. But the story in the song version is not complete. The original poem has Puff being claimed by another child and a happy ending. Why did they leave that part out of the song version? Anyway, I was curious about the magical land, so I Googled Honolulu and was disappointed to find only references to a vineyard in Virginia and a hard-hitting punk rock band from Trenton, New Jersey. Many think the song contains veiled references to smoking marijuana. Puff, the magic drag on, little Jackie Paper. Anyone remember Zigzags? However, the authors of the poem and song, both Leonard Lipton and Peter Yarrow of Peter, Paul, and Mary, consistently denied that they had intended any references to drug use, stating rather that the song is about the hardships of growing older and the loss of innocence in children. Hence the lines, "A dragon lives forever, but not so little boys. Painted wings and giant's rings make way for other toys." Regardless, my simple yet powerful and indelible 5-year-old interpretation of the song remains, that of a beautiful friendship that ended very sadly with no apparent reason. Please puff yourselves with air, seated or standing, and join in singing this special song.
As I said earlier, my name is Elisa Neipp, and I'm a member here and a member of the lovely choir. Before I start my reflection, I want to give a bit of gratitude to our tech crew. Services like this create an enormous amount of work for our tech crew, so if we could give a quick round of applause. Thank you. The song I've chosen for my reflection is a Christmas song, Silver Bells. The song was written in 1950 by Jay Livingston and Ray Evans and made famous in many duets, most famously sung by Carol Richards and Bing Crosby. Originally, Silver Bells was titled Tinkle Bells until one of the songwriter's wives commented, "Are you out of your mind? Do you know what the word tinkle is?" My earliest memory of Silver Bells is the focus of my reflection today from childhood. I was about 9 or 10 years of age, and my school was preparing for its annual Christmas show. The music teacher had assigned each grade a song for the show, and my class was assigned Silver Bells. The month before the Christmas show, the music teacher, Miss Ellis, gathered us all at our usual music time to review the music and help us memorize it. She announced that we would sing the chorus all together, but that the verses would be assigned to a few students as solos or duets. I should mention here that I've always loved singing. As a kid, I sang along to songs on the radio, all the television jingles, and to all the records my dad played. I was lucky that during my childhood, schools still had funded music programs, and singing was a regular part of the school day, and I loved it. When Ms. Ellis announced she would be assigning duets and solos for Silver Bells, I saw my chance to celebrate my love of song. During each music class that following week, I sang as loudly and proudly as a morning lark announcing the sunrise, full-throated and lively and loud, especially during those verses. I thought I sounded fantastic, just wonderful. It felt so good. So you can imagine my surprise when Miss Ellis announced the students who would be singing the solos and duets, and I was not included. In fact, as the teacher placed us in rows on the risers, she pulled me aside. Ms. Ellis said she had a special part for me. My part for the song would be that of a silver bell. She explained that I would stand on the top riser at the far back with a cutout of a bell on my back. During each chorus, I was to turn, face the back wall, and rock back and forth.
to mimic a ringing bell. And with no explanation, she told me not to sing, just to be the ringing bell. That was my special part. When my grandmother picked me up from school that day, I told her how sad I was. She offered sweet grandmotherly words of encouragement, telling me it was special to be the bell. There was only one. My mother was less precious with me that evening over dinner. She broke the news to me plainly, stating matter-of-factly, "Well, you're tone deaf." "I think it runs in the family," she said, gesturing at my father. I was devastated. How could I be so bad at something I loved so much? The night of the Christmas show, I donned my giant bell-shaped cutout, climbed to the top riser. During each chorus, as the students on the risers below me parted like the sea, I turned and dutifully swayed back and forth like a bell. In the years after that, I shifted my musical interests from singing to instruments, including clarinet and flute. I still loved singing, but for years I kept my voice low and paid close attention to trying hard to learn pitch. Many years later in high school, I was lucky when the choir director heard me singing to myself one day and invited me to join the choir. I sheepishly admitted to her that I'd been told I was tone deaf. She said that was nonsense. She said she had heard me singing just then in tune. I was lucky again in college to join a women's choir with a wonderful director, and again now, all these years later, I am so lucky to sing with the choir and with Dawn leading us. In order to do this reflection today, I had to sheepishly admit to Dawn that I was tone deaf as a kid. Dawn reassured me that very few people are actually tone deaf. Dawn said that I had just not been trained, and I was really young. She also reassured me that my childhood music teacher sounded pretty awful all around. Likely because of that music teacher, I do have a fear of singing solo and generally only sing in groups. But I sang the announcements this morning solo, and mostly in tune. When I hear silver bells now, I'm able to laugh about this childhood humiliation that has stuck with me all these years. I cherish that little kid inside who wanted so badly to sing. So I invite all of you to please stand and sing. And as we do, embrace and cherish those childhood or adulthood humiliations that may have shaped who you are. They're still in there. And if you would like, please join me in swaying like a bell. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Jen Gill, and I am going to give you a little reflection. The year was 1970. The month was June, and the day was my 8th grade graduation from Woodside Elementary School. Yay! The day had finally come to celebrate getting out of good old Woodside Elementary with many kids that I had known since kindergarten. We still had art classes, and more importantly for me, music classes back then. Our music teacher was Mrs. Despina Gajanis, good old Greek name. And she loved me because I could sing on pitch, a huge benefit that actually got me the lead in our 8th grade operetta, of course. We had a huge recess playground with a monolithic handball backboard that stood up like, you know that monolith at the beginning of 2001 where all the apes are gathering around it, like in Space Odyssey, in the middle of the blacktop area that someone started on fire during my graduation ceremony. So along with the music that played was the screaming of fire engine sirens from the fire department that was only three doors down from the school. So weirdly, it was not chaos. Watching us all march to the stage to the tune of Pomp and Circumstance overrode any concern for a backdrop on fire. Every year, there was a song that the graduating class would sing, and our song was Climb Every Mountain. So there's a clear Sound of Music theme here today. Back then, I was a downright soaring soprano, and I didn't want to lose my status as one of the favorites of the music teacher. So I may have sung a little too loudly. You know, I may still do that, sorry. I don't really remember. I just know that I love the song, and So I'm going to invite you all to sing along with me, picturing yourselves in your nun habits, not the ones that fly away, and inspiring the wayward Maria as she tried to find her way in her little world. So we're going to sing the ending twice, so save all the drama and histrionics until the very last time we sing the ending, because we all want to do that last note, but do it on the second ending.